Hey dreamers, it is the final video, final episode of Secret Santa 2024. And like I said in the previous video, we did a little bit of a recap of what I have been doing. And this is the final video of the last updates. The final product. This is the product that I have sent it to the person and also to YahDeh, to the event itself. By the time that this video is live, it's probably already summer, or at least close to summer. Yeah, the person already have seen it, hopefully by then. But yeah, it's even though I was been pretty much mostly sick during this event, I didn't really had the time that I would have spent on. If I had more time, I would definitely have put a little bit more detail to things, and it is what it is. But I think I still managed it to at least like an polished product, if I can say so. It's still done, even though, yeah. I mean, if you're an artist, or if you are someone that it's doing art or in some form in dreams or outside dreams, you all know your projects are never finished, right? You're never satisfied with your own creations, and I have that as well. So I always want to, I wish I had more time. I wish I could add this, but it is what it is. So I want to show you what I have been crafted this year's event. And we all know, of course, the Ferris wheel. That's that's where I start off. But in the last video, I showed how the idea of the environment was looking. I expanded that a little bit. So let me show you. So we have here the Ferris wheel. And if I zoom out, you can see there's a lot more lush happening, a lot more greenery, snow, and there's also a little bit of I added some lights, some blue lights here and there to get that snow feeling. You know, when you're going outside, snow has a certain glow on it. If you're it's white, but it's also a little bit bluish because it's reflecting, it's crystals and everything, small crystals. And the only way to get that same feeling a little bit is with adding additional light to it. So I add some blue light close to the snow, so it looks like it is actually snow instead of a white thing that's been sprayed on the ground, you know. It's a small detail, but so yeah, I add some more details here. So we have a fireplace happening here. I'm not sure if I had that already in previous video. I can't remember. I don't think so. I have some Christmas I don't know what it is, a storage thing. I thought it's very cozy next to the thing. And then we have here the Christmas tree. It's now decorated as well. It's the biggest Christmas tree here in this creation, even though it's there's a taller tree in the distance. A little star on the top. And they're all flickering a little bit, so the lights are going on and off a little bit randomly, so they're dancing a little bit. Same goes with this one here as well. I was thinking of decorating the Ferris wheel. I was thinking of that, but I decided not to, because the creation is, of course, a reference to Chernobyl's disaster, you know, I forget the city name again, but where the stuff happened, the ghost town, basically. And so I kind of wanted that to have as a focus point as well in the creation, and then having separate Christmas tree still here on the ground, so it still feels a little bit more Christmas theme. It's it's a miniature of things. And so yeah, so we did oh, and also add a little bit better guidance staircases. I even made a sort of a station for the trains to go in and out. It's barely touching, but this is where you yeah, enter If you want to, if this was still operating in real life, you would something like enter here and get inside. So I made that. It's very simple design. It's not really like I made an end mistake here, so don't look at that. It's already delivered, so I cannot like fix it anymore. So yeah, and I also add audio, some scratching, metal a little bit, and some cracking here and there. The peepee like a very like soft peeping sound randomly. So it feels more than like this is still old, like it's still old Ferris wheel. That's like it's trying to spin around. And so yeah, like there's not really much to see in the back. This is of course just like background stuff. I replaced the trees a little bit here and there, so I was satisfied with the backdrop. I didn't want to have the backdrop too crowdy, like too much, because like the center point is still the Ferris wheel, so the Ferris wheel is still the center point of this creation. But I still want to have a little bit of like a backdrop, so you feel there's like still something going on there. And it's also in real life, there is a forest, or like, they call it a forest? At least there are trees behind the Ferris wheel in the real version. So I really want to recreate that a little bit of the same feeling. And then we have here the posts, like the cables, which I already have placed. You saw it already in the previous video. But I did add something else, and it was tricky to make, because like I do not speak the language. I don't speak Ukrainian. I don't read Ukrainian, so I had to do a little bit of research, because like this person who I made this for was very interested lately, he said, with the history of with the language of Ukrainian, and also the history of Chernobyl in general. So that's why I choose the Ferris wheel. And I also added a word here. 2 words, to be precise. I think it's 2 words. It should be 2 words. And yeah, for most people, they probably can't read what's saying here. Maybe if you use Google Translate, like hovering above with your phone on the text itself. But basically it says here, Merry Christmas, in Ukrainian. I had to search it up. Now, like I said, this, because like, Ukrainian, or they have a weird, well, not weird, like for us, like for non-Ukrainians, they have like stuff in their alphabet. I'm not sure if they have an alphabet as in the alphabet as we know, but they have like different like symbols to pronounce the word, right? I cannot read this. I'm not going to even try it. But some shapes were like the same, like the A and the C and the B and the O, a little bit of the R as well, and the P. And for some reason, there's a tree here. And so I had to... This was like very tricky. Like, how did I make these shapes, right? What I did was I added... like the hardest ones for me were this one. Like that one was... I had to like struggle a little bit with it to have the shape correctly. This one was a little bit easier. Like once I got the other one, I only had to add a little extra to it. But what I did was I picked a text gadget and used it as a sticker, and then placed it on a sculpture, and then basically cut it out around the shape of the letter that I had on as a sticker on the letter on the sculpture itself, and that's how I carved out the A in 3D. It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way to do this, to be honest. If I ever want to recreate letters, or if I want to make my own font, for example, I would start doing something like this. So that's what I did with the A and the C, with the B as well, and with the P and the 3. The rest I did manually, like the N I did manually. I see another mistake, but Oh, it's very tiny. You don't see it from a distance. And like the other shapes, I did all manually. But yeah, so this text basically says in Ukrainian, "Merry Christmas." So I searched it up. It should be correct. It should be correct. I double checked many times the letters, the placements. So this should be correct, and I hope that the person who has been studied the language should also read this correctly. At least, like, I wanted to, of course, like, make sure like it's the same. Now, I must say, why is it placed? You're probably going to wonder, why is this placed on like an sort of like an yeah, and like a socket or like a signboard. It's a reference to like there's a reason why I'm doing this, of course. Like, mostly I create things for a reason. There's like, it's not like randomly that I do things. There's always a reason why I'm doing things, and this reason is it's not a replicant. It's not like the same, because I thought that was maybe disrespectful. But I still wanted to have something like a little of like a nod to the original one. So what I did was, I can't really show you. I can maybe edit this video and then put it in the screen. But you can also search it up. If you searched up Piraput, I think that was the city, Piriput, where basically disaster like mostly happened, because there was a town very close to Chernobyl, and which is now like a ghost town and radioactive and stuff like that. But there was like a big signboard, and I think it was founded in 1970. There's also like a big year on that number, like 1970, and then I think it says the name of the location. It's a signboard, like not like this, but it's similar-ish like this. I only kept the overall look, as in how the letters are placed, and like a little bit of like how the letters are rested on something. So that I kept a little bit of like the same. Also, the color scheme is the same. The only thing that I changed was the look in general, because like I said, I don't want to be disrespectful to the original thing, because it's the original thing. It's also being used as a memorial thing. So that's why I changed the design. But if you know the design, if you're a little bit more into the history of what happened back then, you're going to see some similarities, and that's what I want to kept still, the similarities, the signboards with the letters on top, and the socket where it's placed on. So it's not the same, but it's a little bit in the same line of design wise, sort of. And of course I made it dirty, and because I wanted to fit it in the rest of the creation. Like, it's been old and yeah, have seen the weather. So that's why I painted a little bit more, like water, like rust and stuff like that, just like what we did with the cards as well in the previous video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to report, to add what I did more. At least not with the creation itself. I do have, of course, added a few things, and that is interaction. I cannot make a creation without some interaction. So what that means is that when the person is, or when you're seeing this creation for the very first time, a video is starting to play. It's a very short intro. I learned from the past, like some people were complaining that I make sometimes videos and the shots are quite long. And I know a lot of people don't have patience anymore in this world. Thanks to all the social media TikToks and stuff like that. People attention span is 30 seconds. So so I made sure that this time I made the shots as short as possible, but still kept the overall feel and look. And the rest you can just like explore yourself. You can just like me, how I'm doing right now, like looking around. but you can also just use it as a screensaver or something in the background where the camera is like rolling automatically. Or if you don't like that, if you wanted to have a certain scene in the background, that can also be like that. I will show you how that looks, and that will also be, I'm going to shut my mouth, and then I will just like let the scene play, and hopefully you will enjoy it. So this is going to be my final saying. I wanted to say like Merry Christmas to you all, but like I said, by the time like this video is out, it's summerish, like, or spring. Maybe it's still spring if I release this, because there's not many episodes this year. So maybe spring. So yeah, happy springtime, you know, like but yeah, it was I still had a lot of fun to make this. It was not originally planned to make something like this, if I have to be honest, but yeah, I became sick. You all know that. I already told that many times. It was not like my original intention to make something like this, but I think when I eventually got like the Ferris wheel, and when I certainly thought, I'm like, wait a minute, what if I make it actually work? So it's like something interactable, or like something that like it's spinning around and like the scene is alive a little bit more. I was certainly thinking of like a miniature, like a little box where the miniature is standing on, and like sometimes you see that with theme parks where they have like a miniature of their famous attraction or a ride that they want to show off, and or that people find very cool, or it's popular. Then they have like something like this in a similar way. So that's the idea that I had in mind eventually. So I think overall, I think I'm satisfied with how it looks. But as always, I always wish I could add a little bit more detail still to it. It's like your creations are never finished. But yeah, I think overall it's still nice. I wasn't really sure about the color scheme. I wanted to make it, of course, Christmassy looking. So the sky is a little bit blue-gray. And of course, like I'm almost forgetting, but you already probably have seen it by far now. Snow is falling. So I actually made snow falling around the place, only around where it's happening, where the creation is. So it's not like snowing. Yeah, it's snowing a little bit outside, but mostly within the parameters of the box itself. To give a little bit like a nice touch that it's like still winter here in this place. I was thinking to add more snow here and there to some things. I was thinking of like adding snow to the signboard, but there is a reason why I didn't do that, because like if I do that, yes, it would maybe feel more that like it's been snow a lot, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep the signboard intact without the snow. And I only did it a little bit of places where maybe the snow could still be standing, like here on this wooden canopy, or what I don't know what that's called. The wooden thing here, and yeah, it's just that I didn't want to do that. So it is snowing, but it's not like snowing like super hard. Like it's the snow is not like super thick, you know, like it's not like meters high of snow. So I wanted to keep it still very like simple and clean, but still in the essence of the entire creation. So that's why. So if you're wondering why there is no snow on this thing here, that's why. Because like I didn't want to make the letters fade away into the distance, and that you cannot read the letters anymore. Because like the letters are white and snow is white, so it will become very chaotic. So I wanted to keep that still as readable as possible. So yeah, and also with the trees, I didn't really bother to add snow on it. Because like I think it's a nice contrast to have green and white on it. So You can just like pretend that this is maybe the beginning of the winter or maybe the end of the winter instead of like mid-winter, you know? Use your own imagination. So yeah, so this is pretty much it. I hope that you like the series. It was a little bit different series than normally, but you still got a lot of sculpt videos. You saw how I made the Ferris wheel, and I think that's the most important thing, to show how I did that, because everything else is smaller creations. Like, it's not very interesting to look at how I made stuff like that. So this is, for example, yeah, maybe I could show off this one and see how I made this one. Maybe in the next creation I will show maybe how I doing signs like this, if you're curious about that. I did reuse some assets that I made before, like those benches I made before in other creations. I already said that, by the way, in the previous video. So yeah, some creations are returning things, but not much. I wanted to keep the essence of the Ferris wheel, the center point. So yes, there is still something to look at. So that's why I have like a free camera, so you can look around the creation and see if you can spot some little details here and there, some references here and there. There are not many references, but there are a few references here and there from the Chernobyl. Some in physical form and some in a more subtle form. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to my voice is going to get away. I'm going to restart the scene, and after that has been done, the video is over. So stay watching if you want to see the end result, like how the end result is, how it looks. Well, you already know how it looks, but I mean, with all the camera settings and the camera points of views and the intro, I'm going to show you that now. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that yeah, you enjoyed this series. I had a ton of fun. It was fun to make. It's always like I always want to challenge myself into something. So and the Ferris wheel was definitely something that I challenged myself into. Like, I never made a working Ferris wheel even. I never made that. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't go yet. I will show you the final version, how the person is going to see this creation. See ya.